Start with Justin and then Michael.
So what do you think were the biggest adjustments that the defense made from the first half to the second half against New Mexico?
You know, we had to go back to really our original plan from a while back, where the first concern was his legs, and his legs weren't involved in the last game, so we took a different approach. So we went back to what our original thoughts were, to help with all the legs that he got involved in the game, and where they became a field passing team, which was unique. Kid really played well. You got to give him credit now. You know, he's going to be a good player.
And how do you think the experience against an athletic running quarterback will help your defense moving forward?
Well, I tell you what, you always want an athletic quarterback back there. I go back to when I was on offense. Those guys just bring a different dimension to the game, because if you have legs like that, you create an extra running back. The middle safety has to get involved in the run game. And, you know, that's where them getting his legs involved was different from if you saw the stats from the first game. That was a good job on their part. So, you know, we had to make some adjustments on that. But I thought he played really well. Him throwing the football was really different, because he threw some incredible throws. You know, when you look at it, anybody can do whatever they want with the numbers. But when you average giving up 2.9 yards, I believe it was a carry in the run game, and 6.2 in yards per catch, which is the only stat you look at, that just said there was a lot of catching and tackle, you know, because we're a one-high team. It's not catch and run. The two big plays they had, you know, that 3rd and 20, you thought that ball was going to go the other way. We had two of our best football players right there, and give that kid credit. He made a play, the receiver. And a crack screen in man coverage was the other big play, which was a great call. They nailed the call. So, you know, I give them credit. We got to be better now in terms of just the penalty situation. You know, I am about the mental game, and you can't go 9 penalties for 100 yards. And a couple of those penalties extended drives. So that takes momentum out of the game. And I take responsibility for all of that. We've been, wherever I've been, a defense that plays with an edge, yet keeps its poise. So as much as anything, we have to work on that aspect of it. And then continue our discipline. And everything that's out there will fall in my lap with all these things we're talking about. But I think we're all taking account for everything. Our standard is very high there on the defensive side of the ball, and rightfully so. We're going to keep a high standard, but we can't lose sight that it was a great win, and it's hard to win in today's football.
Michael and Brian.
Just wondering, that concept of getting vertical along the defensive line that you guys talked about coming into the season. When you face a quarterback like that, can you go sort of too far with that concept, getting too far upfield and leaving spaces?
No, the problem was we lost contain.
Okay.
People started getting out of their responsibility, you know. So we should have had edges. We're bouncing the ball outside. But at times a young man was jumping inside. And so that goes back to the discipline. We had too many mental errors, which once again falls on the coaching staff. Whatever is out there, we got to do a better job of ensuring that we can keep edges, especially with an athletic quarterback. So, you know, it's maybe people trying to do more than just their job. So that's been our focus. Just do your job this week and we will be fine.
Brian and Troy.
So I think you used about 13 guys on the defensive line. And I'm guessing that's Coach Ciamalo that decides which ones are going out there. But just, are you comfortable with that large of a number, or do you think it needs to kind of maybe get pared down to 9 or 10 or something?
Yeah, it's early in the season, so, you know, we want to, some of this is evaluation also. And so trying to keep defensive linemen fresh. We do believe we have it's one of, I think I mentioned this before, we're encouraged with our defensive front. So you want to develop some depth in that position, because in this conference, unless it's changed from years gone by when I was last there, there'll be times they'll be playing 80, 90 snaps in a game, you know, because of all the throwing game and all of that. We played 87 snaps this last game. That's a lot of football.
Troy and then Jason.
Out of the 87 snaps, I believe Tate Brown had 83.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts on his performance, you know, being out there as the full-time starter for the first time.
Yeah, we felt like we should have subbed him more and Manu, and worked through. That's a position that we have to develop more depth. We have built in a dime package where Dalton can fall in there, much like I did with Irby a year ago. If you notice, we were playing with a defensive back at the other linebacker position. Running out on the field a year ago, our two linebackers didn't strike fear in you as they took the field, but after the first play, people knew how tough they were. So we have that ability too, that we didn't go with in this particular game.
Jason and Justin.
That was the most snaps Rose Killebrew has played in quite a while. How do you
Yeah.
assess his play?
I thought he did well. He's really growing. I think he's got a lot of upside. He's still a young corner that is growing, working to be more physical. When they got him in certain formations when he had to play middle safety, which meant he would have had the quarterback, those are all foreign to him, So we have to keep growing in that area. But it would be unrealistic for me to think he'd hit a home run at every at-bat. But I'm certainly encouraged after his first game.
Justin and Michael.
What do you think about the turnover sword?
I love that. I think that's a heck of a thing. And I don't know how others feel it. I like it more than, my good buddies at some other places started with a chain or sit on a crown or something like that. The kids really enjoy it. I think it's a neat aspect of the game.
And then Genesis Smith.
Yeah.
What do you like about him so far?
Well, he's just got unique ball skills. I saw that from him a year ago. What we had to do is, he reminded me of Justin Reed a lot. Coming out of high school, he would see ball, chase ball. And we had to curb that a little bit, that you have a responsibility, yet the fine line is you don't want to take all those instincts out of his game. And so he has become much more disciplined. So now he's getting more leverage now to go play. But he's getting to the middle of the field and then working. So that's perfect for him. When the quarterback starts scrambling, now he can really get on people's eyes. Plus he can finish. That was a great, eyes to hand catch by him, which a lot of guys can get there, but they can't finish. He can finish plays.
Michael and Brian.
Well, one of Coach Brennan's biggest worries going into the first game was tackling, because you just don't do that much tackling anymore these days in the offseason. How would you assess how the defense tackled, and what can you do moving forward to improve in that area without putting your players at risk?
Well, not good enough. 16 for 84 yards. Those are all hidden yardage in there. And much like I was saying, if you tally it all up, what was it? 5 plays for 145 yards, I think is what it was, with the long run, 2 eye controls. So eliminating the big plays is critical. So that's always a staff discussion on how much do you tackle during camp. And, we'll revisit that again next year on how much you tackle. There's always that concern, but you have to tackle. You can drill all you want. I've done this long enough. Tackling live is always an issue, but you should get better. I'm not giving our players an out on that, or us coaches, because whatever is on the field we're responsible for. But I'm anticipating a better effort next time out of taking the extra step. That's one of the biggest things, to take your extra step. So now it's a chest tackle rather than lunging. But once again now, give that quarterback credit. He's going to make people miss. That's why you have to really chase the football, so you're not dangling guys out there in one-on-one tackling situations with a fast athlete that's really elusive.
Brian, and last question to Troy.
If you had to give your overall defense a grade, what would it be for that first game?
I'll leave that up to you. A letter grade. I've never done that.
No.
Why would I start now? I've done this 44 years. I've never said this is an A, this is a B, this is a C. What I will say with you, we need to be better. Is that good enough for you?
Sure.
Yeah, because I think that's for the media. I think people say this guy's played an A or B. So, I'll let you give the letter grades. We just have to get better, and I think we all understand that as a staff, as a football team.
Last question to Troy.
Just wondering how, first game with the helmet communication and also the tablets and all that, how that played out during the football game. How did that all operation go for you?
That was fine. I mean, that's more for the offense, much more for the offense than the defense. Because I think, who do you give it to? Do you give it to the linebacker that you can talk to? Well, he's got to talk to the corners, or he has to turn around to talk to a safety. Do you give it to the safety, who now got to reach down and talk to the nose guard, So what we have done, we still continue to work very similar, and we can give guys different notes on certain down and distances or, things of that nature. But I think that's much more beneficial to an offensive football team than a defensive one.